Well, hello. It is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for this Gemini full moon with your sun and rising signs. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Scorpio new moon video, as well as to welcome to all the new subscribers. And welcome back if you are a regular here. I appreciate you all so much. Would love for you to comment and let me know, give me feedback. And forgive my lighting. I am in various locations throughout the month of November. So my lighting has not been superior or even to my standards. Anyway, we'll get through this, and that's just how it'll be. So this full moon in Gemini, of course, we have the moon in Gemini, the sun in Sagittarius. This is the last fire sign of the zodiac, the last fire sign of 2023. And this one is going to peak at about 3:17 a.m. Central Time on November 27th. And so right after the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And so, of course, we're going to have a full moon in a sign that rules communication, that rules mindset, that rules technology, as it is a form of communication. Gemini is mercurial. So if you happen to be somebody who is sensitive to Mercury, even if it's not aspecting any of your placements, because it's Mercury, you may feel some effects. But of course, it being a full moon, we're all going to feel the effects of a full moon. And I really love the energy that we're stepping into as far as in the broader perspective. I keep talking about the personal planets and how they're sort of moving together. They're kind of separating, coming together, and then like they're changing the lead and all of these things. But Mercury, Mars, and Venus are pretty much traveling together from now until, I don't know, Pisces, Aries season. So beginning of next year. We also have the Sun and Mars traveling near each other. Of course, they had their cazimi on the 17th, 18th of November. However, they're still going to be within a couple of degrees of each other, even as we talk about this full moon in Gemini. So Mars is still a pretty good player working with the Sun. And while Gemini is an air sign, which is intellect and mindset and things like that. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Mars is a fire and water because it rules Aries and Scorpio planet. So there could be a lot of forward momentum energy as we come into this full moon. There also could be some restriction because no course to success is a straight line. There's always got to be bumps and knots and stuff we gotta sift through and things like that. But as it is, it's still some forward momentum energy, bumps in the road or not. We kind of have that, expansion, constriction. When we go to the next level, we have to sort of constrict a bit because our body has to catch up, or our mindset has to catch up, or, we've never felt that before. So our nervous system, our emotions have to catch up. All of these things. And so kind of check your fears as you are moving through this Sag season, that, you're not letting the fears, the constrictions sort of derail your program. I don't want to use that word. Derail your game plan, derail your goals. There is restriction, there is constriction, but it does not have to derail you. It doesn't have to, get you off course, as they say. So let's dive into the keynote and go from there. Oh, Lord. Let's try that again. There we go. Do not know how I got so messed up, but there we go. All right, Gemini full moon. Of course, we got the yellow going on because yellow is the color of Gemini. I did not pack any yellow, so unfortunately, I didn't have any yellow to wear for the occasion. So forgive me for wearing blue. I try to match the colors of the zodiac, but it doesn't always happen. All right. So, of course, the usual, follow me on socials. I am live on Instagram every day for the year 2023. And so you can catch me on Instagram at Sarah Waggle. You can book with me. I have the basic personal astrology. So if you want to know your sun, your moon, your rising, so you can better follow these videos, you can get that along with characteristics that, characteristics, light and dark characteristics of your sun, your moon, your rising. And you can get your advanced personal astrology. This is not only your sun, moon, rising, but also some upcoming transits and dates to note and things like that. So you can book any of those in the link below. Of course, you can catch me on my guest appearance on the Hearts Unleashed podcast. I am available for podcast guest appearances and whatnot. You just have to contact me for that. And you can join me on the Awakening Spirit Collective, where I am now doing zodiac season overviews. So I did post a video for the overview of the Sagittarius season, things to expect, dates to note, and things like that. And of course, there are many other practitioners on the Awakening Spirit Collective. So you can work with other coaches, other guides. There we go. Other guides. And there's plenty of, conversations and networking to be had on the Awakening Spirit Collective. The link is below. It is an affiliate link. I do get compensated to bring people on board. If you have any questions about that, of course, drop a comment or get in touch with me. Probably on Instagram is the easiest way. And of course, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Again, thanks to the new subscribers. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for commenting and all the likes and the love. I really appreciate it. I love seeing this channel grow. There's so much just shit on YouTube. I'm not oblivious to the shit on YouTube. I have actually 2 YouTube channels. One that I just use to watch all my fun hobby videos. But I dive into a lot of craziness on, the craziness that's on YouTube. So I'm happy to see people following me on YouTube. Or on Instagram. I try to do good things. I try to be within integrity and be honest and open about myself and, not tell you all the gory details of my life, but I at least try to be, a good soul on social media. And so I really appreciate you following me and subscribing to me and following my content. So thank you for that. All right, here we go. So this full moon is really about finding balance between, of course, it's happening during the holiday season, right? It's between Thanksgiving and Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate. So it's finding balance between, family things and your personal missions, your personal projects and whatnot. So I really feel like there's a lot of balance here because we don't want to wait until January 1 to get things started. I promise you don't want to do that. You really want to use this Sag season, and, planets direct and things like that to really get things moving forward. So finding the balance between, what you got to do for whatever holiday season you're in and pursuing your personal projects. I just really don't recommend putting shit on the back burner right now. It's not a good time to do that. It's actually a really good time to be proactive and get moving forward. Discover who you really need and who you don't need. We have some energy that's going to create some, obviously we have the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, but we also have Venus finishing up in Libra towards the end of November, 1st of December. And so there's really going to be this moment of people being done with certain relationships, or even on the global scale, we could see some changes in alliances between larger groups. So there's that. So be very clear if it's time for you to be done with a group, with an organization, with, you know, something that you've been a contributor to. And maybe it's time to shift gears. You know, it is Sagittarius season. So that's all about religion and belief systems and all of that kind of stuff, philosophies and all that. Invest your time wisely. Yeah, I'm just saying, use this energy, capitalize on the fire. Let's see, be aware that not everybody is you know, doing inner work, doing spiritual work and things like that. So this energy can actually be on the darker side of it. It can be, you know, can create eruptions. It can create you know, upset, you know, just erratic behavior, erratic emotions. Mars is with the sun in a fire sign. You know, that's just a lot of upheaval and whatnot as we move through this energy. So it's a matter of staying in your own lane and really being in your own space, being in your, you know, seeing where you're going, knowing where you're going. And yes, there's going to be people that are going to try and disrupt, derail, or criticize or judge. You know what? That shit's always going to be, regardless of where the sun and the moon and the stars are, right? Somebody's always going to be over there being like, are you freaking sure you want to do this? And you're going to be like, yep, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So, and go do it, right? I'm an listen, I am a blind nomad. I'm an astrologer who's legally blind. I produce video content with keynotes on the internet. I go live every day on Instagram. I travel, I house sit. You know, some pet owners don't like me because I don't tell them that I'm legally blind. And some pet owners could care less as long as their pups are taken care of and their house is well maintained while they're gone. So, you know, I mean, and I do tarot and astrology, and you can believe that my, you know, older relationships do not support that at all. So, and I keep doing it. And honestly, I'm happier than I've ever been. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So my point is to not like empathize or compassion to my story, but my point is take my story and be like, you know what? I have to do this thing because this is what I freaking love. And it lights me up and it gets me out of bed and it makes me feel good about myself. And that's what we got to focus on, is the stuff that makes us feel really good about ourselves, regardless of what others think. Okay, moving right along. Okay, transits. Of course, we have, where are we? Neptune, Chiron, Jupiter, Uranus, still in retrograde. We're going to more talk about Neptune and Chiron. Jupiter and Uranus are still going to be retrograde until the next video or two down the line. So we don't talk about them quite yet this video. Okay, Mercury in Sag into Capricorn, November 10th through January 13th, and then finally into Aquarius on February 5th. Okay, so Mercury retrograde, mark your calendars, December 13th through January 1, 2024. This is kind of why I'm saying you don't want to wait till January 1 to start your quote unquote resolutions. You really want to start pursuing your fiery stuff, your passion stuff now, because yes, Mercury will be in retrograde. However, lots of things happen, like direct planets go direct around the first of the year. And while that's like pumped up forward momentum energy, now is the moment to really get it going or solidify the game plan or even implement the game plan prior to Mercury going retrograde on the 13th. Because remember, Mercury retrograde is not a bad thing. It just makes us think more. It just makes us, you know, concentrate harder and focus more and clearly communicate and all of those things, and pay attention to technology glitches and whatnot. So there's Mercury. So Mercury will go retrograde until the 1st, and then it will move back into Capricorn on the 13th, and then ultimately into Aquarius on February 5th. And February, the beginning of February, y'all, I'm just telling you now, be aware. Okay, Mars in Sagittarius, the 24th through January 4th, 2024. Can you believe we're talking about this? I know I said this before, and I've said it on a bunch of videos lately, and I've been saying it live lately. Mars and Sag, hold on tight. Mars, again, is traveling with the sun. So Mars and the sun are not, they're only conjunct around the 17th, 18th of November, but they're going to be within a couple of degrees for quite a bit. And therefore, it's kind of just one of those, like, Mars is kind of getting the fuel from the sun. Not that Mars needed any fuel to get things going. So Mars and Sag, this could really be a good thing because it could light a fire under your butt, or it could be a really erratic, crazy situation, depending on how you're using the energy. Okay, Venus in Libra until December 4th, and then she will ingress into Scorpio the December 4th through December 29th. Again, the 29th, what did we just say? Mercury goes direct on the 1st. I think Jupiter goes direct on the 31st, 30th, 31st, somewhere in there. So, but Venus and Scorpio, Scorpio's truth, like, it's going to dig deep. So you think that, like, truths are going to come clear around relationships, finances, self-worth, those sorts of things with Venus and Scorpio after that Scorpio season we just had. That's going to be juicy. That's going to be juicy. Okay, Neptune is direct on December 6th. We could feel some energy that day. Chiron does not go direct until December 26th, but pay particular attention if you happen to have Chiron between 14 and 16 degrees of Aries, because you're going to get another hit of your Chiron return. And so if some stuff has been coming up around your wounds, your core wounds, and things like that, you may be feeling that again middle to end of December. So there's that. Pluto is at 29 Capricorn on December 19th. So again, prior to December 19th, we kind of have this 28-degree Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn energy. When it gets to 29, that's that most intense degree of any sign, right? That's like the final degree, and Pluto's going to be there by December 19th. So it's kind of like you've got this moment in time to sort of set your stage, know what you're getting after, know what you're worth having, whether it's your career, your relationships, your faith, know what you're worth having, and have it all kind of solidified and have it together. This from now until the end of the year, or even like December 19th before Christmas, or before the holidays. I got to quit saying Christmas because I know not everybody does Christmas. So I apologize. I apologize for my upbringing. No, not really, but oh, I forgot to change the name of the moon. This is not the Hunter's moon, and I don't know what this one's called, and I apologize. Oops, I messed up. Okay, well, it's at 4 degrees of Gemini. Let's take a look at this chart. Okay, so I did some highlighting and circling. So you can see here the sun is at 4 degrees Sag. Mars is at 2 degrees Sag. Again, these two are traveling together. They're working together in a fire sign. That's some energy. This full moon is widely square Saturn in Pisces. I say widely because did I highlight the wrong? No, I didn't. Here it is. Okay. Saturn's at 0 and the full moon is at 4. That's a pretty wide orb. For me, I'm usually a 2-degree orb type of astrologer. But it could be close enough to matter, as the sun will square Saturn prior to the full moon, hours before the full moon. So, could have an effect, not hours before, days before. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong luminary. Gosh. The moon will square Saturn hours before, the sun days before. Okay, there we go. So, you could really notice that restriction And because of both of them squaring Saturn leading up to their opposition on early morning on the 27th. So you really could see some restriction, some, some like what the fuck fatigue, mental fatigue type energy. So okay, for Gemini, and then of course, like let's see, potential resistance associated with needing to release something or someone. I feel like the Mars energy with this here, not to be obvious, not to state the obvious, but because I feel like with Mars here, you know what you need to let go of. You know who you need to part ways with. You know what you need to release, right? I have felt this energy, and I know some other astrologers have felt this energy for the last few full moons. It's like, okay, people know what they need to let go of, but we have this resistance, and you can call it stubbornness, but stubbornness is just your resistance. You're just resisting letting the thing go because something about the thing still serves you, even though it's not helping you progress forward. And so, you know what you need to let go of. Saturn's there. It's been there for a minute. It's been at 0 degrees for a minute. I think it's at 1 degree though in this chart. Excuse me. So you know what you need to let go of. You know what you need to shift. You know what you need to, release to move forward. So not to state the obvious, but you know. Okay, so let's move on. I'm sorry that I messed up the Hunter's moon. Okay, lunations. Of course, on the 27th, we have the full moon in Gemini. On December 4th, the third quarter moon square in Virgo. Then on the 9th, we have the balsamic or darkening moon in Scorpio, back to some Scorpio energy. And then on 12/12, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. I do want to point out though that the new moon in Sagittarius, Mercury goes retrograde 8 hours later. On the 19th, we have the first quarter moon square in Pisces, and then we will have the full moon in Cancer on the 26th. Merry Christmas, all of the things. So that's the lunation cycle. Okay, before I switch the slide, let me just say that I'm about to jump into the sun signs. So of course, your sun, your moon, your rising, or your sun and your rising, go with your rising sign first, then your sun sign. You can always check for your moon sign, that's your emotional being. You can check your Saturn if you want to know your karma and all of those things and that kind of thing. But if you're still a beginner with astrology, please stick with your sun or your rising sign and all of that. And so, but you can do this however you choose. Of course, I will chapter mark everything so you can swiftly move between chapters and all of that. Okay. Okay. All right. I feel like Scorpio gives me this extra boost of energy. It's still Scorpio season when I'm recording this. And I feel like Scorpio season just gives me an extra like it's my silliness sign. Okay. All right. Aries, sun and rising. Aries, this is your forecast for the Gemini full moon on November 27th, 2023. Let's go, Aries. All right, Aries, this is in your third house. What do you need to communicate? What mindset shift do you need to make? You know what it is. You know what you need to say to somebody. You know what maybe you need to pop off to somebody, although I don't recommend it, but hey, you never know with Mars involved. What do you need to shift in your mind? Maybe you need to give yourself a pep talk. Maybe you need to, pop off to yourself and be like, listen, bitch, we got to do this shit. We got to make this life better. We got to go down, we got to go do this project. All of those things. I mean, I have those pep talks with myself sometimes too. So, but what have you known? What's been weighing on you that you need to communicate, that you need to relay or, get the message to someone or something, or like I said, a mindset shift or whatever, to really get things going in the right direction for you. So that's what I have for Aries. Taurus, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini on November 27th, 2023. This is for Taurus, sun and rising. All right, Taurus, this is happening in your second house of finances, self-worth, value, and all of those things. And I feel like there's something you need to say to yourself about your finances. Maybe you need to get real about your financial situation. What do you need to admit to yourself about your self-worth, your value? What do you value about yourself, Taurus? What is it that you love about you? What's the thing that you need to get clear about with yourself? And maybe this is something you need to tell close friends and family, but I really feel like it's something that Taurus needs to get real about with themselves. Maybe it's like you need to, get yourself into going on a healing journey or, whatever, to find your value and find your worth, discover the worth of yourself. Maybe you don't like a lot about yourself, but you have been putting off that healing journey. And I feel like, but maybe this is something you can share with a friend who you trust and who can, give you the resources to get going on the healing journey or whatever. But I feel like there's something about yourself that you need to get very clear and very honest about and admit to yourself. So that's what I have for Taurus, sun and rising. Gemini, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini on November 27th, 2023. This is for Gemini, sun and rising. All right, Gemini, this is obviously in your first house. So I feel like we could see some reinventions of some Geminis. You've been through a lot over the last few years of, having that, what did you have? The North Node there a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. But there could be, it's time to shine. It's time to just really maybe there's something you've been self-confident about or conscientious, what's the word I'm looking for? You've been self-critical. We'll use that word because I can't find the other one. You've been wanting to share with the world, show to the world, but you've been just deep in your, I don't know if they're gonna like that, or I don't know if I look good in that or whatever. And now it's time to shine. It's time to change your appearance, time to change how you show up to the world. Maybe there's something that you've been hiding, about an artistic or a talent that you have, but it's time to let that shine and share it with the rest of the world and use this full moon to really support you in to release the inner critic, to release the self-consciousness about it, and really allow it to shine. So that's what I have for Gemini, sun and rising. All right, Cancer, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the Gemini full moon on November 27th, 2023. This is for Cancer, sun and rising. All right, Cancer, this is in your 12th house. Something karmic is ending, or maybe something that you need to acknowledge or have a revelation about your spirituality. So check in with yourself. This is in your 12th house. 12th house is about karmic cycles, karmic endings. It is also about spirituality and duality, something about an old way of being that you are ready to let go of, or an old story you've been telling yourself, or you're gonna just break through a karmic cycle and not repeat it, because you have realized that you don't need to repeat that karmic cycle. So this being in your 12th house, very reflective, introspective, could definitely be some journaling for Cancers going on. Definitely some feelings too, some emotions around that. Cancers are very emotional. 12th house is quite emotional. But I do feel like there's some revelations and probably therefore some conversations that need to be had with people as you have these revelations or realizations about the ending of a cycle, the ending of a way of being, and opening yourself up to this potentially new beginning for you. So yeah, that's what I got for Cancer, sun and rising. Leo, Sun and Rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini, November 27th, 2023. This is for Leo, Sun and Rising. All right, Leos. Oh, I didn't change the color. Dang. All right. Seeing all my errors when I do these live on video as opposed to when I do them pre-recorded. Oh, well, anyway, I'm human. It's all good. All right, Leos, this is happening in your 11th house, groups, communities, technology. Your role is changing. You've been through some, foundational changes, home life changes, emotional intelligence changes, or emotional well-being changes. So maybe your role in the group or community that you're closely associated with is also going to change. Maybe it's a future project, a project for humanity, planning or implementing a project that's going to help, support humanity, the advancement of humanity, or even the unification of humanity. 11th house is kind of is Aquarius themed, and Aquarius loves humanity. And so, this really could be about planning or implementing a project that helps humanity. Again, this could be social media, of course, maybe an online group, an online community, or maybe just your role as maybe, something to do with technology, who knows, AI, or what's the other tech that I was just thinking of that I can't think of now? Oh, well, whatever, doesn't matter. The point is technology, groups and communities, and future projects, future plans. Again, you've been through a lot with like your emotional well-being, your home life has been changing. And so, now it's this, shifting your role. Maybe it's you're the boss, you're the CEO of your business, and it's time to take a step back and let somebody else do a lot more of the supportive action within the business. Or maybe you stabilize your home life and now you can step up to be more of a leader in a group or community or something to that effect. So that's what I got for Leo, Sun and Rising. All right, Virgo, Sun and Rising. This is your forecast for the Gemini full moon on November 27th, 2023. This is for Virgo, Sun and Rising. All right, Virgo, this is happening in your 10th house, which is career, long-term goals, and public achievements. And so I feel like Virgo, you've been through kind of a lot of self-reflection, and now it's time to show up. It's time to really go after your long-term goals, your career goals. Maybe this is your re-emergence on your social media in a whole new way, because you've pinpointed the message that you want to convey to the world. You've realized that it doesn't matter if it's imperfect, that as long as you get it there, the improvements will come along the way, as you've seen in my video this week. But so I really feel like this is just about Virgos. Like you've got the message, you've got the mission that you want to put out there, and now it's time to go after those goals. It doesn't have to be like a public appearance thing. However, 10th house is about career and or public appearance or public achievement. So that's why I feel like social media could be a thing. I will say, Virgo, you are also ruled by Mercury, and the full moon is ruled by Mercury. So there is some, mercurial element here. Maybe there's something that you do need to say about your career. Maybe you're ready to just shout it from the rooftops that this is what you want to do. You want to be a stay-at-home mom. You want to be, a recording artist. You want to be this, whatever it is, you want to be the boss, you want to be the artist, you want to be the creator, all of these things. You kind of want to shout it from the rooftops. Like maybe this is this moment for Virgos to really shout it from the rooftops, and really shine out loud, like who you want to be, how you want to be, and how you want to, go after those 10th house career goals. That's what I got for Virgo, Sun and Rising. Libra, Sun and Rising. This is your forecast for the Gemini full moon on November 27th, 2023. This is for Libra, Sun and Rising. All right, Libras, this is happening in your ninth house of broadening your horizons, philosophies, belief systems, and long distance travel. There we go. That's the words. Okay, so Libra, I know you're going through it. I know because you got the South Node there, you had an eclipse there, in October. And so you're going through transformation. So here's what I'm going to say to Librans. Librans, you may be pursuing your own stuff now. Like you're done people pleasing, you're sick of other people's crap, you're sick of trying to make everybody else happy, and you've decided to make yourself happy. Now, when you go through a belief system change or any kind of change whatsoever, is between now and a year from now, you may not even have the same belief systems. So if you're switching to, a philosophical or mythological belief system by this time next year, you may not even, you may not even care about mythology. You may not even care about the philosophies or whatnot, or you may dive deeper into them. But my point is that because Libra is going through this, dropping the people pleasing bullshit and stepping into their own, there could be this, at this Gemini full moon, you're choosing to open up the opportunity to study something new or broaden your education, long distance travel, all those things. But by next year, a year from now, at the next Gemini full moon, or even next Scorpio, next Libra season, who knows? But my point is that your belief systems might change between now and then. So don't be surprised if you kind of have to shuffle through like one belief system and then you're like, no, that doesn't align. But the point is to drop the people pleasing and to really dive into stuff that, interests and hobbies and education and philosophies and belief systems that actually light you up, that make you happy. And you don't really care what other people think. You're going to study Buddhism because it's cool, right? Or you're going to study astrology because damn, it makes sense. And there, but a year from now, you could be like, oh no, astrology doesn't make sense. Reiki makes more sense, or, who knows? I don't know. I'm just throwing terms out there, to be honest. My point is to say that like when you're going through transformation at this level that Librans are going through, it would not surprise me if, Librans, even if they move now long distance, that they could move back to wherever they started from by the time a year from now has passed. So that's what I have for Libra for this full moon in Gemini. Scorpio, sun and rising. Smart. I actually brought water in here this time for filming. Okay, Scorpio, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini, November 27th, 2023, Scorpio, sun and rising. All right, Scorpio. That was an intense new moon in Scorpio, wasn't it? All right, here we are on the other side of it. And the full moon in Gemini in your 8th house of, which is Scorpio themed. So, merging financially, intimately, potentially more transformation, more, introspective work. I really feel like Scorpios may get a lot selfish. And to be completely honest, I've been really selfish lately. I've been really like, I don't even care about other people. I do and I don't, if that makes sense. I've been really in my own world. But anywho, so you may have some deep-seated stuff that is surfacing to be cleared in order for Scorpios to really, really start to shine. And I do feel like Scorpios, have the potential to really shine. Scorpios are really brilliant. Scorpios are really smart. They're really investigative. They get obsessive. They get hyper-focused. And therefore they can, they do well at investigating and finding out the details and things like that. And so, there could be some deep-seated dark energy that is preventing you from, focusing on things that make you happy, like things that bring you passion, things that, make you happy, or I just said that, bring you joy and that sort of thing. So it really wouldn't surprise me if, we see a lot of Scorpios, going through some further deeper transformation, because there's something that's holding some Scorpios back that they know what it is. Maybe they can't even access it. And this full moon might be the one to reveal some of that so that Scorpios can really dive into the opportunities, the possibilities, the newness that's coming for them. Perhaps it's new relationships, new like I said, new financial opportunities. Maybe you're just emerging out of debt. Like maybe money just got easier and you're just like, hooray, finally, money is easy. I get it. I get the energy of money now. Money is easy, right? Money is super easy, but Scorpios like make everything complicated because that's what Scorpios do. And so you could just be coming out of debt, right? Financial mergings. You could be getting a new financial opportunity. It could be a new relationship opportunity. It's intimate mergings too. So lots of ways that this 8th house full moon for Scorpio could be presenting itself. So that's what I have for Scorpio, sun, and rising. Sagittarius, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini on November 27th, 2023. This is for Sagittarius, sun and rising. All right, Sagittarius, it's your season. This is your opposing full moon in your 7th house, partnerships, balance, relationships, of course, any kind of relationship or partnership. Kind of thought I just heard my computer make a noise. Okay. So you could be looking for balance. You could be looking for balance between your relationship with your coworkers and your friendships, your romantic partner, however this may go. But you could also just be looking for balance in general, like between, work, life, taking the time to actually do things like eat, sleep, drink water, exercise. Like, that's technically more 6th house-ish, but there also could just be a lot of things around balance. I know some Sages who just work exhaustively and don't take the time to self-care or spend, make new friends, spend time with friends and that sort of thing. Sages like to be around other people. They're very extroverted, but sometimes they don't take the time for themselves, and they don't, again, they don't take, not only are they working a lot, but then they're social and they don't take the time to self-care and all of that. And maybe this is that opportunity in this full moon to really see where you can implement ways of finding balance in relationships to everything, from business partnerships to romantic partners to making new friends and bringing some new people in, and all that. So that's what I have for Sagittarius for this full moon in Gemini. Capricorn, sun and rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini, November 27th, 2023. This is for Capricorn, sun and rising. All right, Capricorns. This is in your 6th house, daily habits, routines, health habits, things like that. You've been through a hell of a transformation over the last 15 years. And now you know some stuff about yourself, and maybe you've let yourself go, and it's okay. It's all okay. However, you may feel this light in your soul that you need to, maybe start a workout routine or change your eating habits, or just change your sleep habits, change your schedule, change your routine. Things like that. You've been through a lot. But it's really a time to be conscientious of your routines, your habits, and what's going to kind of implement or help implement or lead you to, executing the next level of your goals or your life missions, and whatnot. So adopting new routines, new habits, things like that. Now is the time to really get that going. And again, as I've said in a few other places, like, that you need to change your daily habits. You need to change your health routines. These things need to happen, or you're going to, really develop some poor health problems, or, just poor habits in general. So this is not you know, something that you're not aware of it. You're just resisting it like everybody else. So totally understand. But that's what I have for Capricorn, Sun and rising for this full moon in Gemini. Aquarius, Sun and rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Gemini, November 27th, 2023. This is for Aquarius, Sun and rising. All right, Aquarius, this is happening in your fifth house of heart-centered, childlike playfulness, joy, happy, fun, could be inner child, you know, healing work or whatever. But I actually think what this is about for Aquarius, because I just, with all the Aquarius energy that's coming up in the next few months, is Aquarius needs to, or, you know, release the potential embarrassment and shame of being a nerdy intellect and really start shining like the nerdy intellect geek squad. Maybe I shouldn't use that term because I think that's a trademark term, but release the fears around being a nerd, being, you know, an intellect, being somebody who's, you know, who finds nerdy, geeky things fun, right? They made a whole show about it, The Big Bang Theory. It's hysterical, right? They made it funny to be a nerd. They made it funny to be a weirdo, right? They made that funny. Aquarius, make that shit funny, okay? Be who you really are. Release the fear, release the shame, the embarrassment around, like, you know, being a nerd. Look at, I do Star Trek Next Gen Tarot. Do you realize that that Next Gen Tarot deck is like hated on the internet because it's poor quality? But I love that deck and I'm going to keep doing it until I find another deck. I know I'm always going to do it because I happen to love that deck. But my point is that Aquarius, be Aquarius. Find joy in it. It's Sagittarius season. It's a new full moon in Gemini. It's really around like releasing your fear around what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what is your heart's desire. And if your heart's desire is like building your own Halloween costume, which I just recently saw a friend of mine who's an Aquarius do, and I'm like, God, that's fascinating. Like, that's fascinating. And I wish I had the ability, the talent to do all that. But I'll stick with astrology and tarot. But my point is that be okay with being a nerd. Be okay with being an intellect. Be okay with the fact that that makes you smile. That's what makes you happy, is being nerdy, being alien, being like speaking a foreign language, you know, whatever it is, right? When I talk astrology to people, people think it's a foreign language. So that's why I use that term, foreign language. But anyway, so be Aquarius. And stop being so afraid of it. Stop being ashamed of it. Stop being embarrassed about it. It's time for Aquarians to step into the role that they were meant to play in this world, which is to be weird, to be unique, to be authentic, to be a nerd, to be geeky, and all of these things. And it's okay because it takes all kinds of kinds. And Aquarians know that. So take that with you. That's what I have for Aquarius for this full moon in Gemini. Pisces, Sun and rising. This is your forecast for the Gemini full moon on November 27th, 2023. This is for Pisces, Sun and rising. All right, Pisces, this is happening in your fourth house of home, foundation, emotional intelligence, maternal things. Something ain't right with your home situation. You know it. You don't want to admit it, but you know you gotta. Because this full moon's revealing it. It's putting some red exclamation points on it, but something ain't okay with your home foundation. Maybe something is out of balance with your ability to have your emotional needs met at home. Your emotional well-being is out of whack and needs a little bit of tune up. Maybe you need to feel some emotions. But something around your home and foundation, your emotional well-being is out of balance. You know it, and it's time you admit it, not only to yourself, but the people who you share home space with, so that you can be supported in, you know, having some emotional stability, having some emotional well-being time to ground yourself, center yourself, and get back into your body so that you can do your mission. So that's what I got for Pisces for this full moon in Gemini. All right, that's what I got. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, of course, see the links below for, booking with me and all of that. And if you want to have me as a guest speaker, that option is available for you. Honestly, message me on Instagram. That's probably the best way, or drop me a comment here and we will figure out how to get connected. If you would like to have me as a guest speaker for your group, your podcast, or whatever. And then, of course, thanks for the likes, the comments, the shares, all of those things. I appreciate you so much. And let me do some tech things. There we go. All right. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I'm recording this, it's still Scorpio season, like I said, but I'm really just loving the energy right now because, if we are using it to support ourselves in doing our, inner work, our healing work, our mission work, and whatnot, then it's going to support us. If unfortunately, if we're not using it, it could be easily derailed. And neither way is wrong, right? Some of us are here to not fulfill our missions this life, but to learn some lessons and all of those sorts of things along the way. And but this we only get one life here that we know of, right? We don't know. We may get multiple lives and we don't know about it. So I always say, like, remember that you're only here for a short while. You're living one life that you know of. So, are you really going to let the bullshit of society, the bullshit of your family, the bullshit of, people who claim to be your friends, stand in the way of, doing your thing? Like I've said plenty of times, my family and some of my close, older friends that I'm not close to anymore because I chose to do astrology and tarot and Reiki and energy work and coaching and all of that. Just cut me off because I chose to do that. And I'm okay with it because I had to do what was right for me and move forward in this way. And I'm grateful to myself. I constantly write letters to my younger self, thanking her for making some hard choices that in the moment, were very confusing to me and people around me, and were more confusing when people didn't support them. But I knew I had to do what was right for me to move forward. And now here I am producing videos for YouTube. So do what you have to do for you. Honestly, it's going to hurt and you're going to grieve in the moment. But once those moments pass, those hurt feelings pass, the grieving moments pass, you are going to look back and thank yourself for doing things that are hard to do. And, as I continue on this blind nomad journey, and, the constant, like, what's next and where's it going to go and all of the things. But the more I just lean into, there is a plan for me and there's a plan for you. There is a plan for you. So sometimes you got to make a tough choice and not everyone's going to agree. Not everyone's going to support it, but you got to do what's right for you. And as long as what you're choosing to do is being heartfelt and heart-centered and makes you feel good and makes others feel good whom you serve, obviously people feel good watching my channel because y'all keep coming back. And I appreciate you so much for doing that and for sharing it and continuing to spread, my love and my joy for doing this work out into the world. And so, that's why I do all this, and it's just, it brings me happiness to be able to support so many people in whatever capacity that is, whether you get a reading from me or, a consultation from me, or you text me as a friend and you're like, hey, the hell is hitting my moon right now? Or why am I experiencing this, that, or the other thing, and, that those are the times, that I just really appreciate what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And I'm going to keep going and all of the things. And I trust the universe that the people who were in my life were meant to be there in the time that they were there. And, now there's room for more people, new people to come in and to be a part of the next level of my adventure. So anywho, As this new moon, full moon, I keep on calling new moon, as this full moon peaks, I'll actually be traveling. And so hopefully in the very near future, I will have a little bit of stability. But I don't actually know when I'll get internet. So I'm actually working ahead to get a lot of videos uploaded to YouTube, so that if I don't have internet for any stretch of time, then at least you guys will continue to get videos. So I'm well ahead of time on this one, and I'll be well ahead of time on some other ones, but that's okay. You'll get them. They'll be there just in case there is a stretch of time where I don't have internet. And so I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get internet once I have things established, but hopefully not long, but you never know the way the world works, right? All right. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all so much. And of course, join me for the Moon Astrology Tarot videos. I've not only been doing the Star Trek Next Gen Tarot, but I've also started implementing the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, the full tarot deck. I've been practicing with that. And I have been researching new tarot decks, but I'm not sold on any one new deck yet. So we will see what happens. I have a few decks in my storage that I may work with. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. Thanks so much for tuning in, and check out the links below to book with me, to connect with me, join the Awakening Spirit Collective, where you can get more astrology info and more supportive practitioner content, and all of that. Of course, catch me on Instagram, and I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.